Hello everyone, a little bit different video today. I thought I would show you my vinyl collection. It's not very big, but it's about quality rather than quantity. Because you know, with iPhone and stuff, I have literally thousands of songs. Thousands. I mean that I bought, not some subscription. I own thousands. I own everything that's good on the planet already. So when I use, let's say, my vinyl player, my turning table, the term in English, it's for stuff that I want to have that special sound for. Right now the mic is pretty far and it's not, don't worry about it. Just trust me, it sounds cool. But what I want to do this episode is just show you what's on my turntable. So right now playing, we got Bedtime for Democracy, which is this bad boy here. Dead Kennedys. I think that era of Dead Kennedys is amazing. This was like their last amazing album. After that, pretty much were done, right? Well, this one is actually playing right now. I'm just gonna put it there. This here is actually even better, but it's less long. So you listen to the side A of this album, it's pure gold. Side A from this album, wonderful. The problem with side B is just that it's very short and you know, so I just let it on the side A and I play that sucker all the time. So this one is called Give Me Convenience or Give Me Death. So it has a lot of attitude. It's amazing. I think that Dead Kennedys on this record, of course the ones before too, Fresh Food for Vegetable and whatever, I'm not good with names. For sure, they did not start with this. They started as punks in the streets, barely getting recorded at all. But then when they got in a studio and they made a few albums, like to dump their song, you know, for posterity. If you guys are to get just one record, I'd say get this one if you're old school, get the other one if you're a bit less old school, but both are amazing. So now that we're done with Dead Kennedys, of course, don't break the oath. Let's get real. You're not even in the ballpark of metal fan if you don't at least appreciate Merciful Fate and what they brought. But me, I don't just appreciate them. I'm actually quite insane, and I try to own everything, even their book. The book, I wanted to read it for Halloween, but then I was like, oh my god, you're not even allowed to actually like, I can show a page like this, you know, I can be like, oh look, there's a comic book. It's about Abigail and King Diamond, but I cannot like show page for page and read it, because then it becomes a copyright bullshit. So whatever. So I love King Diamond, I love Merciful Fate, and he has a new song that came today, Spider Lilies, very good. So I got a bunch of King Diamond, I'm gonna go faster, but this one is my ultimate favorite. This is pure gold. This is so great, but the songs, there's only 3 of them and 3 of them on the other side. But Halloween, I love them very much. Them is a classic. No Presents for Christmas. I intend to cover it for Christmas probably. Then the Lake is very good. I don't think it's on another album. Phone Call is nonsense. Whatever. I love this cover so much. But yeah, Conspiracy is actually my favorite album. This one. It's the last album with Mickey D. Not that I care about Mickey D particularly. I mean, it's not my era, you know. I'm 40. What do I care about drummers in the 70s? I don't. But he does sound better than the albums that come after that we're not even sure if it's a beatbox or not, but no, it's not a beatbox. King said it himself. It's just like I got, you know, an electronic drum set or something like that. It's not a beatbox, guys. But whatever, this album is like the best thing in the world ever. It's like this bridge between this old generation that I'm not part of, you know. I like the Mickey D's of this world, and the newer rocker, like, you know, like Metallica era, if you will. This is like a bridge. It's like bringing I don't know how to say this, but the sound of this album is like old and new at the same time. I love it very much. This one I love so much as well, The Eye. Of course, it's a more polarizing album, but it's so engaging. The album is very engaging. I don't care that much about the lore of the pendant, but the songs itself, the music of the songs itself. Like I know King Diamond is great at his lore, but personally, I'm really more into it for the music and the visuals. But The Eye is a very good album. I got this guy here, just in concert Abigail 1987, because if you're going to have a very great old school album to get the sound of them, like Tim Henson is no longer around, right? Mickey D is still around, but not in the band. Michael Moon, he was special. And Larocque, of course, he's amazing. He's still there. But so I like to keep time capsule of the sound period that I like in bands. Of course, I love many of their periods, like right here. Melissa. I know the artwork is cool, but the songs are so special. They're so weird, but in a good way. Okay, Rambozo, I think we've heard you enough. I'm just gonna shut the music, even though you guys probably don't hear it much because the sound is not high. Me, it's annoying me. So the album starts with Evil, then Curse of the Pharaohs, Into the Coven, At the Sound of the Demon's Bell, Black Funerals, like one of the best songs ever, right? Satan's Fall. Not only is it one of the best songs ever, but it's so long, it's so packed with good stuff. And then there's Melissa. So come on, this album is amazing. It came before the Oath album, but so I got both in mint condition. I buy everything new, and I take very good care of it. I don't let anyone touch my stuff, even my filthy fingers. Then of course there's this one. I'm gonna give her a bra. Look, she has a bra, because I don't want the video to get. I'm not monetized or anything, but I don't want to run after problem. So this album from Merciful Fate is obviously amazing. But we're getting in the reprint territory. I feel this is not like original cardboard. No. This is a reprint 2020 Metal Blade record, a reprint of a 1982. So this is 38 years, 38 years later reprinted. So yeah. I'm just gonna put them back here. I don't want to overstack the weight on this shelf because I feel like this is enough. The collection is not over, guys. I still got plenty more. This album of Fantasy Pug, no, that's a joke. That's a old calendar with pug picture. Who doesn't want cool pug picture? But this is nonsense. This is out of date. So moving on, Blasphemy Made Flesh. This is like, I come from there. Me and Cryptopsy, we come from the same city. So this is a local band for me. They had many eras, they changed sound many times, but dude, when a band is freaking like 35 or 40 years old, of course your sound is gonna change. Cannibal Corpse sound changed too, The Chris Barnes era is very... No, he actually has two sounds. Let's set a bit. Check out the Chris Barnes era. There's the initial album sound. But then the album with Staring Through the Eyes of the Dead, that's a sound change. That's a big sound change from all the guttural, very, very simple, to going into a Staring of the Dead, which like Spire Smoke, like they went commercial, let's say commercial with big hyphens. So right, the Chris Barnes era has two songs, and then you get into the same album that they re-recorded with Corpse Grinder and vocals. It's so cool that we have both albums. We can listen to both versions. Like I like both. I know there are some Chris Barnes haters out there. I don't care about any of that. Chris Barnes invented the vocal style that you who cares if you don't like his latest albums, even though his latest one is good. But I know that there's 3 or 4 albums before that one that personally I don't like either. I listened to it once and like, meh. Moving on. I'm not gonna hate on the guys. You made so much good stuff. So yeah, the album Bringer of Blood has to be a cornerstone in his style of death metal. There's so many styles of death metal now. It's like when I was young, it was simple. When I was younger, I'm a lot younger. Let's narrow it down. In the end of the 90s, there was like, oh, this band has a Morbid Angel sound, or it has a Cannibal Corpse sound, or it has a like Grave sound, like a more Swedish sound or whatever, or it has the other sound that we saw, Obituary sound. Napalm Death, let's be honest, it was there, but nobody took them seriously. It's still today. Well, now they change. Yeah, I'm judging at that time. I'm judging the 90s stuff. It's like, dude, your songs are like 30 seconds long. But whatever, now over the time they end up make real songs, and so yeah, I'm not bitching about the actual. They turn out to be good, but I think it was not that great. Scum album, I think is overrated. You can throw tomatoes at me, but upon listening to it to make a cover, I was like, dude. And I look at the tablature. I'm not even joking. It's just like you slide between 2 notes for a minute while the guy yaps like a dog. No. Let's be objective. That was bad, but they turned out excellent. So moving on, I sat down because I wanted to talk about Chris Barnes. Yeah, I wanted to talk about different sound eras. So right in Cannibal Corpse, there's a lot of sound eras. Right, Chris Barnes are 2, then George comes there. Then let's agree that after the Vi album, switching to the Gallery of Suicide. Gallery of Suicide, I think that's the thing. Every one of their album is a slight sound change, but some albums are big sound change, like Gore Obsessed, which is my favorite album just because I don't take the lyrics seriously. So for me, I'm not much of a hatchet to the head kind of guy. No, that's the opposite I want to say. I'm not much of a hammer smash face guy. I'm more of a hatchet to the head because the album sounds like candy to me. It sounds, the production value is good. It sounds like candy. I don't know how to express this, but if you never heard Gore Obsessed, I think it's an amazing movie to watch along watching Walking Dead or whatever. I just like that candy sound of Cannibal Corpse. It's mostly gone in recent albums. They do have some good songs, especially well, not especially, they always had, all of their albums got some good songs, but an album that when every single song is amazing. There again, they have multiple albums, but my personal favorite is Gore Obsessed. So whatever, they got 10 freaking different sound eras, and same for Cryptopsy. So you have the early era, which has sadly no picture of the musicians. Well, yeah, there is some. So you have Lord Worms, young Lord Worms. Then you have Martin on bass. I don't even know the guy. Steve, yeah, Steve. I remember him. I remember his name, but not the guy. I didn't even remember Flo used to look like George. Look, he looks like young George before he shaved his head. But no, not really. So yeah, they have this era, and then Lord Worms decided to go artistic or something. Don't get angry at me. I like all their albums, but I am not big into the walkette, the patet of whatever, this album that he speaks instead of screaming. And they know this. In interviews they say we only want to have lyrics that you can't understand from now on. We don't want you so they get it that speaking I think that speaking is a bit pretentious, you know. You hear it in bands, of course, like Emperor, whatever. What about mine? Who's mine? For a dramatic effect. But when you're just speaking, when you're speaking your lyrics, I think it's so boring. It's personal opinion. whatever. So they got this era, and then they have the other vocalist, right, for a few albums, and then they get the new vocalist, but this new vocalist, which is amazing, but he had an era which he was finding his sound. Some people might prefer that sound, but me personally, I did not like much the let's call this emo, even though it's not emo, but whatever. All the albums, all the recent albums with the new vocalist, I think are cream of the crop. So Book of Suffering Part 1, Book of Suffering Part 2, and Gomorrah Burns, of course. I think there's another one, but I forgot the name. I'm terribly sorry. But if you look Book of Suffering upwards, it's all wonderful, wonderful. So if anyone got disinterested in Cryptopsy because they came in when they were switching vocalists, there's an era where I very much enjoy Whisper Supremacy and stuff, but some people are so like, Lord Worms only, whatever, okay? I'm just saying, if you want to get back into Cryptopsy and not necessarily watch the entire thing, you can jump to Book of Suffering Part 1 and 2. It's mind-blowing. If you don't like it, don't bother going to Gomorrah Burns, because it's more of the same. So go to Book of Suffering Part 1 and 2. Otherwise, this and None So Vile are the best for me. But None So Vile, I got it like on repeat, both on my phone and on this compact disc. So I did not buy it at vinyl. While I don't have the compact disc, I only have it on my iPhone. So I bought, because I want at least one vinyl of a band. So next we have Carpathian Forest. This album is glorious. It's glorious. We're going to hell for this. Yes, you definitely are if it exists, but it doesn't. Let's not get banned. But whatever. This is like, if you take punk, you concentrate it times 10, then you stuff it in the ass of a black metal vocalist, you get Carpathian Forest. And then you stuff a few heroin needles in it. Joking. Do not do drugs, it's bad. But sadly, this guy has a drug problem. Damn. But the music is amazing, though. At the end of the day, it's not our fucking problem what he does with his blood, is whatever he does. But the music is amazing. And then he turned to shit because he's completely ruined himself, obviously. So I'd say anything he's made in the last 15 years, nah, that's not true. His latest shows was like, oh my god, he came back to life. So I'll give him some slack. I very much love his latest EP albums, like All My Friends Are Dead. And the other one, whatever. I like this 2-song album, and I like what I shown of him live. He seems like he's into it again. He's no longer like here for a paycheck, although he probably is, But I mean, he looks like he's alive. He looks like, he's actually like appreciating, like, you know what? Yeah, I think, I belong here, and it touches me to see him like back in his good place, because he was a disaster for a solid decade. Complete disaster. But whatever. Carpathian Forest, not all albums are gonna like. This one, check it on YouTube, or check my cover, like Evil Cat metal videos. If you don't like the song that I cover in the Evil Cat video, you're not gonna like it. If you like it, get this album. It's more of the same. It's amazing. So now we go into more recent stuff. Kahacking Ran, which means Iron Jaw in Tolkien language. So these guys, sadly now they're 2 and not 3, because the drummer and let's call it a keyboard pianist. The drummer and the pianist were brothers, and then you have the frontman who played guitar. So it was a trio. But at some point, you can watch his very, very old live footage. You can see how much it looks freaking hard to play off-time guitar while singing off-time, while doing all his weird... So they ended up getting a guitarist, is where I'm getting at. And thank the Lord for that, because damn. So it freed him to be more... accentuate more on the theatricalness. But yeah, skip a few years later. Now the drummer is gone, so they replace him. I don't know with who yet. I don't know with who, because I think the brother stayed to make. I'm not sure he stayed for this one. But he stayed to finish an album at some point. Oh my! Is there even a record that I can open on camera? Well, I'm not gonna bother with this right now, because I'm not sure if he took part in the recording or if they hired someone to record the drum on this album. But right now, as I speak, they are recording in the studio their new album. It's like, oh, thank you. This is gonna be great. None of their albums are let down. It's hard to describe. You know, it's when that early Cradle, not early, like a second, third wave Cradle of Filth albums. You know, like a Battery. The whole album Battery, I don't remember, Cruelty and the Beast. The whole album Cruelty and the Beast, you sit down, you listen to that. If you're in the mood for it, of course. If you're in the mood for it, and it's like, wow, that was like so epic. It was like I just watched the best movie of my life. Well, all the Cara Cangren albums sound like this. There's gonna be some disagreeing with me there. The first album, La Mendam, is not my favorite. I like it. Not my favorite. I think that they have like a good 3 albums that are better than that. Phantom Ship. Mind blown. One of the best things I watched in my life. Then there's This Is No Fairy Tale. Oh my god. The one... the Funeral Dirge of a Violinist is Where Corpses Sing Forever, name of the album, I think. It's like, come on, man. And they got another one that's even... And then there's this one. But this one is not even as good as them. I just bought it because it happened to be the one that was available or whatever the day that I was on a buying frenzy. Perhaps it was like, oh, you need one more item to get free shipping. And I was like, what do you have? Okay, I'll take this. Something like that. Otherwise, I would have taken probably... it's hard choice. Probably Phantom. That came through a Phantom Ship. Just because it's such a glorious album you have. It's like I said, it's like listening to Cradle of Filth, Cruelty and the Beast album. It's something that you need to sit down. If you can, close your eyes, put headphones, just let yourself go in this world. It's insane. It's and they have many albums like this. Also, Cara Cangren, I know it's impossible to read, but it's like CARACHANGREN. So check them out. Next. Oops. This is something local of no interest to you. This is Canadian French artist Plume La Traverse. Just never mind this guy. I'm gonna put him back there. This is like music I was listening to from my forefathers as I was sucking on my mother's teeth. This is like very, 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 very old stuff. 1974. 10 years before I was even born. So, let's go. Slowly we rot. Of course, this is not like the best album ever, but it's live and rotting. And what I mean by it's not the best album ever, because I prefer other albums that have more. Oh man, I love so much the albums like World Demise. I love World Demise so much. I love all their albums, honestly. The recent stuff is amazing. The recent stuff, like their latest 2 or 3 albums. But Ink and Blood, is it World Demise? Or well, whatever. All their latest albums that they made video clips animated, it's so good. But anyway, I also very much love their roots, which is the era that they were always live and rotting. Chopped in now. I'm joking, of course, but yeah, you need to have an obituary album. But like I said, I own everything already in compact disc, cassette tape in that case, because this is old stuff. My iPhone, so I just took when I take only one vinyl from a band that I own already everything, I will take something live, so that when I put it on, I'm not listening to something that I've heard 50 times. I'm listening to, oh, it's like I was at a personal time capsule of a show. This is like very great. So live and rotting. Next, of course, I'm a big Primus guy. I used to be a punk, believe it or not. Believe it or not. My friend would call me Primus because I would walk around the city with my cheap P-bass, slapping my ass off. Probably was breaking everyone's ear, but it's okay. It's not important. I developed when I was young everything that's necessary to be able to play bass, even if my brain is completely turned off. I developed all the memory and stuff. So yeah, at one point I had a pet rat on my shoulder as I played bass, and I walked around the city like a fucking idiot. But yeah, that was the 90s for you. So Primus suck on this, very cool album. Most of their album are amazing, except I don't like everything that's after anti-pop. Even if anti-pop, it had to grow on me. And then with all the crap that came after, like, oh, anti-pop was not that bad, it was good. It actually is good. But personally, this is this shit. This, the Seas of Cheese and Pork Soda is the shit. Next. Nile. They have a shitload of albums. Most of them sound the same, but not this bad boy. This bad boy defined not only metal, but it defined, like, it gave me a purpose to even live. Like, wow, this shit exists. I'm glad to be alive. And I listen the fuck out of that all the time. This is just next level amazing. This album is hard to describe. It's if there was a Hall of Fame, this album should be in it. I think it pushed death metal. Well, never mind the word death metal. It destroyed completely even the word death metal. It just went like screw all the nonsense. Let's go deep in the catacombs. I just love it so much. Next. Oh, never mind. That's not music. It's just me that I was like, oh my god, the best of Star Trek. I want to hear poo, beep, 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 beep. I bought it. I never opened it, and it's probably a good thing. That's the kind of thing that can go up. I don't think so, because it's a best of 2013. Nah, that's not old. But anyway, maybe one day I'll pop it open. For now, I just watched the episodes. I don't know why I bought this. I think it was just like, maybe it's because of Leonard Nimoy. I love him so much. That's why I got a cookie jar with his head. We don't really see in the frame because of the camera. And King Diamond. But whatever, I got a Spock cookie jar. So more Primus. Fresol Fry. I'm gonna skip right through it. Then I got Emperor. I have not opened this one yet because I don't need to. I got it on my iPhone, but one day I will pop it in my turntable. I chose this album because it's the one that I grew up with, and even back now, as I listen back to their albums, sure there are cool songs like The Lost and Curse of Reverence, I Am the Black Wizard, and whatnot. They have a lot of cool stuff. But this album, talk about an Hall of Fame album. Honestly, most of their songs sound the same, but not this album. This album, I think, is encapsulates the essence of these three person. I don't see the drummer, but I assume he's there. So Ishan Samot. Damn, sorry, I'm bad memory. Ah, there it is. Yeah, Samot, Ishan, and Trim. I don't know if it's the good or the bad Trim, but whatever. The album is good, okay? Let's not go into the personal story of people. because my memory is bad, but I know that somewhere out there there's a bad trim and a good trim, and I'm not sure if it's the good or the bad one, but the album is amazing. Let's move on to this. Immortal. That's not the best album by any stretch of the imagination, but it's the one that looks the most glorious. It's the era where Abbat had this big white pinch and he made the best crab dance moves. It's so good. It's so good. 3 sides. What the? I haven't opened it in quite some time. Because I got this all on my iPhone, you know. So it's rare because when you use this, you have to undust it and everything. So I put one in there and it stays in there a long time. So now Dead Kennedys has been there for a while. I'm going to take this opportunity today to change. But let's finish our round, okay? So this is not my favorite album. My favorite album is actually more along the lines of Blizzard Beast. Maybe even the one before and after that. They got a lot of good albums. It's hard to point out, but this is like the last of the very good ones, but it was already starting to turn weird. But it's okay because it's Abbat. I got a Pantera record. No particular reason other than when I grew up, I only had a limited amount of cassette tapes, and one of them was Pantera Far Beyond the Horizon. So when I built my vinyl collection, I was like, you know what? It needs to be in there because it was in my original collection when I was a kid. And sometimes, rarely, but I do pop it. And it sounds so cool. Strength beyond strength. We all miss Dimbag. We all do. So, this is a Jello Biafra CD. Okay, let's sit down for this. The thing is, Dead Kennedys died decades ago. But, the lead vocalist, the point of interest, if you will, of that band, he went on, but he does 2 types of things. There's his political stuff, or he's just yapping about USA stuff that I don't give a fuck about, because I'm not from USA. So I don't care. And there is his music stuff. This is his music stuff. Jello Biafra and the Guantanamo School of Medicine. Okay? It's good music. Is this the best album? Actually, it might be his second best. The thing is that I bought everything on my iPhone except this one. So this one I got it on vinyl. The only reason I have it on vinyl is because it's the when I was shopping for his stuff, it's the only vinyl that I could find locally. So I was like, okay, I'll buy this vinyl, then I'll buy the rest on my iPhone. So I did. But it's a very good album. Don't get me wrong, it's a very good album. Satan's Come Over. Check them on check them is the band, you know. Check them on YouTube. Just if you're curious, like, oh, Dead Kennedys still make music under this name, Jello Biafra and the Guantanamo School of Medicine. He's older, but he still got it. Just check him out and make your own opinion. We're almost done, guys. Almost done. Yikes. Well, this side is probably less worse than the other. Whatever. This is Dimmu Borgir, Puritanical Euphoric Misanthropia. It is not my favorite Dimmu Borgir album at all. Actually, my favorite album is Spiritual Black Dimensions, because I grew up with it. I grew up with Stormblast. It blew my mind. I had no idea what he was saying, of course. Now, when I do the cover, I'm like, holy fucking shit, what is he saying? This is fucking horrifying. In a good way, but in a bad way at the same point. It's like, dude, you cannot go on and say, like, I'm gonna slaughter all the X community. You cannot do stuff like that. So now with time, you know, 2024, I'm 40. Now I understand why all the boomers were like shocked that the young people like me when I was a teen and young adult, were listening to black metal and Cannibal Corpse and stuff. Like, why are they shocked? Now I understand. Like, when I look the lyrics for the Stormblast album, it's like very, very violent stuff. You know, it's it's of course there are a bunch of immature pricks saying nonsense. You know, you have to take that into consideration. But still, even though there are a bunch of immature pricks saying nonsense, it's still way too offensive. And I understand why they changed they switched to English, but it also toned down. Stop targeting a particular, because the Norway had that. Maybe not them, but the old church burnings and stuff. It was like fashionable, like, oh, I say stuff like I'm gonna kill everyone and burn church. It's funny, but it's not really funny. Of course, nobody likes the people that did bad stuff in the religion, but nobody should be saying we should annihilate everyone remotely connected to that. It's nonsense. It's not how civilized people deal with problems. So yeah, the community just calm down. But at the end, it's like something. It's just young, immature people. This is not like Ayatollah swinging his hammer, saying, "I put a hit on your head." No. This is not the same thing. This is not a serious. The threats that are in those songs, the threats against Christianity, are not serious threats. They're just teenagers wearing corpse paint, trying to seduce the local god girl. Let's be real. Let's be real, because that's pretty much it, right? So either that or they have serious mental problem. So either way, choose your poison. So my favorite album of them is Spiritual Black Dimensions. It's a lot less offensive, so you're not like don't feel dirty for listening to it. But this one is cool too. It's just a bit too aggressive. It doesn't feel like Demu at this point. It feels like Hellhammer's in town. Let's go as fast as we can. That's fine. I'm glad that both eras exist, but I prefer pure analytic. I prefer Reptile. The album with the song Reptile. Last one, guys. Last one. Of course, Celtic Frost. I grew up with this one as well. Well, not in vinyl form. I grew up with this one. Actually, it was one of the first compact discs that I owned. So I was listening that on my way and back to work like 20 something years ago. Before I had a car, that era, you just became an adult, you work at a shit place, you don't quite yet have a car, so you have to commute back and forth to work. So yeah, I was listening to this bad boy, well, that and other stuff, but I was listening to a lot of Celtic Frost. Well, the first two albums, this and Megatherion. All the rest is complete nonsense. I don't even understand what this has to do with anything, but Morbid Tales and Megatherion are amazing albums. So I recommend at least checking on YouTube, see if you like this very, very old school sound. It's very, don't expect technical music here. There's nothing technical. Well, when you hear technical metal nowadays, you think about ridiculous stuff like Arcspire or whatever. No. This was a simpler days where you could just pick a blues groove or the root of just a simple line and just pick on it, and it was a much simpler time, but it's good stuff, and it's what inspired a lot of the other bands that I showed them. So sorry if my camera was a bit off, but it is what it is, and the microphone and everything. But I needed to get there and get the records, and then get in the box over there on the ground and get the records. And now I'm gonna have to put them back there, because there is some up there too. It's like all over the place. I need to do something. Oh yeah, and while I'm there, I just bought a guitar amp, because I had bought a guitar, but then I got the pedal, but then I had no guitar amp. Like, oh my god, so there you go. Now I got it. It's a Boss Katana 50 something. So now this Boss Katana guitar amp will go with my HM 2W Wazacraft pedal to get that Swedish sound. Swedish meatballs. And I'll be able to plug it on my guitar to get some covers going maybe there. I haven't played guitars in so many years. Last time I played guitar, some of you were probably not even born. I'm exaggerating a bit. But yeah, so don't expect much in the first days of guitar. But whatever. Now at least I have the hardware to be able to record guitar. I'll put this microphone in front of the amp, you know, so it will have more of a traditional guitar sound, while I'll keep my bass, because the bass has a good pedal with preamps and stuff in it. The bass, I don't need to plug it in a bass amp to record it, but the guitar I will. Yeah. So this is it, guys. Thank you very much for your time. I just wanted to show you my record collection. Of course, I got thousands of albums on my iPhone and stuff. I'm not gonna show you all that. Who cares? I wanted to show you the what's cool. Vinyl are cool. This compact discs are not cool. I got piles of them. Everybody has walls and piles of them. Nobody cares. I showed you my vinyl. I hope that you find them cool. If you have anything to suggest me, I'm open to suggestion. Like sometimes the records are not even on the iPhone store. You can only get them physically. So sometimes you can have an album like, oh, did you hear that album? It's only on vinyl. Because my collection is not complete. But I'm going slowly because it's expensive stuff. You know, we're talking, it's Canadian money. I don't want to confuse you. But it's still expensive stuff nonetheless when you already own the song on your iPhone. You already bought it, so now you're basically buying it again. So it's expensive. We're into extra stuff that it's not necessary, so it's why I'm going slowly. This is not something you want to rush and put all your money there, and then you get flooded and you got nothing. Then you slow clap your way to suicide. I'm joking. So thank you for your time. So I will come back with another music video soon. Because, of course, I don't work that much as of this late on Feline Realms, because this is the last week of preparation for Christmas, and then I'm going to be so busy. My head is not going to be able for, like, literally until my kid goes back to school, right? So for a good 3 weeks or so, I'm not going to be able to get any shit done except music. So I'm gonna make the most out of it by trying to be done with music. Not be done as in, oh, I'm not gonna play music again. No, just done as in the music that will be used into the video game that I'm making on the side. I would like to be done with this so that I can go back into the game and have something to do. Like, oh, let's put the music that I've done during the vacation in the game, and then I'll be like, yeah, I'm a lot closer to release, right? So it should be motivating. It should be. So we'll see. Whatever. See you next time.